Today, we shall see one more or few more pieces from the Atharva Veda. We are continuing on that. I picked up several from the Atharva Veda, and after that, we'll go for other things. This is 3.31.11. 3.31.11. Atharva. Third Kanda, 31st Sukta, 11th Mantra. It's a very simple piece, just 2 words. amRutaa vayam. That's all. amRutaa vayam. amRutaa vayam. Once the basic and fundamental concepts of Veda are clear, it will be very easy for us to understand further pieces of Veda mantras. amRutaa vayam. It says we are eternal. We are eternal. We are permanent. We are permanent. We are eternal. We are never prone to old age or death. Along with Amara, I have taken Ajara also. They both go together. Ajara, Amara. We are not prone to either old age or death. Now, this appears a bit confusing if you are not very clear about the Vedic concepts. Because most of the time when you say we refer to our shariira, indriya, manas. That is the problem for that confusion. And the shariira, indriya, manas definitely is prone to old age and death. Then how can this statement be true? We are not eternal, we are going to die one day. If not today, tomorrow, if not tomorrow, someday later. We are never permanent here in this world, we die. Now is it? It says, you are above death. The whole problem can be solved with a simple understanding of vayam. When we say vayam, it is definitely not the shariira, indriya, manas. Now the whole problem will be solved. When you refer to vayam, it is nothing but satchit, the soul, the aatma. When I say you, when I say they, when I say he, she, everything refers to Atma and Atma alone. This is the clarity what we need. And what about Sharira Indriya Manas? Sharira Indriya Manas is a beautiful tool for the Atma, that's all. Maybe the human form, maybe or any other form. It's just a tool. It's just an apparatus. When we say vayam, when we say you, when we say he, she, whatever it is, it all refers to the operator. Operator is different and the apparatus is different. There's a clarity we need. So when you say vayam, it refers to the operator and not the apparatus. Number one. Number two, apparatus is an integration of Panchabhutas. All the Panchabhutas are in certain proportion come together or brought together to be precise, and the Sharira Indriya Manas is formed. So what is integrated? One day or the other will disintegrate. And the disintegration is what we call as death. So death is there for what is integrated. But the soul, when you understand it as vayam or you or he or she, is not integrated. We know very clearly that it is anadi ananta, it just exists. It existed, it will exist. It's not created. Today from time immemorial, it continues for time immemorial. Anadi ananta. Now such entities, we know there are only three. One is the Sat, another is the Satchit, another one is the Satchidananda. All the three are Amara. All the three. They are eternal, they exist. There are just three entities which are there with the quality Anadi Ananta. So once you are able to distinguish between Sat and Satchit, Sat is the shariira, indriya, manas, the tool. Satchit is the operator which is having Sat and Chit, which exists and is aware of its existence and is consciousness. We have no problem at all. It is very easy to understand these two words. 331.1. amRutaa vayam. mRuta, bring pranatyage. That's the root. Bring pranatyage. Now there also I got a clue. Pranatyaga means there is some separation. That's a clue there. And that separation is between the shariira, indriya, manas and the soul. When these two get separated, that's what we call it as death. Mrityu. Mrityu is separation. Even there, the shariira, indriya, manas and the soul, they get separated and nothing is lost. You know, shariira, indriya, manas made out of these panchabhutas or the sat, there will be change in form. What is integrated becomes disintegrated, that's all. It is also not lost. Nothing is lost, nothing is created. When we say birth, it is the union of shariira, indriya, manas and the soul. A particular structure is integrated as a tool, and within the tool resides the soul. So soul entering such a shelter is what we call as birth. Nothing is created afresh. Just birth and death are two incidents. It's not creation of something, it is not destruction of something. They are just two incidents. In one incident, the two come together. Shariira, indriya, manas on one side and the soul. They come together. On the other one, the death, they get separated. Or it's a union of the two and the separation of the two. Nothing is lost, nothing is gained. Then how to understand this nasha? Nasha is a word we use generally. Generally, we understand nasha as destruction. But the root says it is not destruction. It's very clear. Nasha adarshane. That's the root. Nasha adarshane. It's very clear on the face of it. From nasha comes nasha. It's very clear. It says it's not destruction, but it is not being seen. Because there's change in form. That's all. It is gone. The meaning of it is the present condition, the status, the form is gone. But the basic material which was used to create this form still exists but takes a different form. Nasha adarshana, you are not able to see it in this present condition. That's all. It's not that it is lost. Nasha adarshana is a root. So when you speak of nasha, it should be very clear that you are not able to see it. Because there is change in form. Change in the structure has got disintegrated. So amRutaa vayam, we clearly understand that it is a soul which just continues its journey from birth to birth. It takes different tools in the form of shariira, indriya, manas and keeps on moving and moving and moving. It never ceases. It never gets distracted. It never gets eliminated. No. It is eternal. For the soul, we use one word, aatma. What is the root for aatma? That makes it still clear. Ata satatya gamane. That's the root for aatma. Ata satatya gamane. Satatya means satata. Satata means continuous, without break. Gamana, movement. The flow. The one which flows eternally, continuously is called Atma. That is Vayam. That is you, that is he, that is she, that is they. All these are referred to by Atma, and the very meaning of the word Atma is Satata Gamana. Continuous flow, continuous movement. It just moves and moves and moves, and this journey is unending. Anadi, we don't know when it started. The journey is going on, that's all we know. We don't know the starting point, we don't know the ending point. Or in other words, starting point and ending point are not there at all. It just keeps on moving and moving. It's a journey which never started, it's a journey which never ends. That's why we call it as Anadi Ananta. So vayam we have to understand rightly as a soul which is on a continuous eternal journey and never gets destroyed, never ceases. And amRuta, that mRuta or brief pranatyage, we have to understand it as just two incidents, not creation of anything, not destruction of anything. And the whole picture is clear. Now, while this journey is going on, what happens? It is an eternal journey. But during this journey, we will be passing through different phases. We will be passing through different conditions, different frameworks. This you have to understand very clearly. One such phase, we call it as the birth and death cycle. Birth and death cycle. Once again, birth and death, you have to understand very clearly, is just integration, disintegration, union and disassociation. That's all. Nothing is created, nothing is lost. We are set into a framework. Certain parents, certain shariira, indriya, manas, certain environment, certain share of natural resources. So that is birth. And all this will cease. That means they get separated, they get disintegrated. When I say cease, it's not destruction. So they get separated, we say, this whole framework is gone. Father is gone, mother is gone, brother is gone, my house is gone, my wealth is gone, my everything is gone, all that is mine is all gone. So all such framework where a lot of relationships I had developed, all those relationships are gone in a fraction of a second when death strikes. Gone. I'm in a free environment. No relationships, nothing. But depending on my karma, what I did when I was in the shariira, as a result of it, now I'll be put into another framework with another father, another mother, another brother, this and that. Not only human form, it could be other than human form also. But I'm in the birth and death cycle. I get a tool, use it, throw it out, get another tool, use it, throw it, another tool, use it, throw it. It's a big chain. This is called as the birth and death cycle. Now within this birth and death cycle, what happens is, we are subject to two roles. One is called as the karma yoni, another one is called as the bhoga yoni. Karma yoni and bhoga yoni both are in the birth and death cycle only, within that. Sometimes we get into a karma yoni, sometimes we get into a bhoga yoni. But it's still in the birth and death cycle. Now what's the difference between bhoga yoni and karma yoni? Bhoga yoni, it is a state of imprisonment, if I'm right by using that word, imprisonment. That is no freedom. Whatever I have done, I have to just take the punishment, or I have to just suffer, I have to pay the price for all whatever I have done. That is bhoga yoni. Karma yoni, of course, here I take certain fruits of my actions, plus I got an opportunity to progress. That is, I can uplift my soul. Atmodhara, if I can call that word. Atmodhara is possible. Improvement of the soul, the quality of the soul, in terms of its purity and strength, is possible. I can do it, I can manage it. When I'm in karma yoni, not in bhoga yoni. Bhoga yoni, the tool what you will have is a non-human form. While in karma yoni, it is a human form I have got, and this human form or this human shariira indriya manas is capable of working in such a way that it enhances the strength and purity of the soul. It's possible. Only as human beings, I repeat, only as human beings. In any other tool, it's not possible. In any other tool, we are to take the fruits of our deeds and be done with that. I cannot improvise. My condition will not improve. Karma phala has to be taken. That's all. Doing good karma and improving the soul is possible only in the karma yoni. Now that cycle is clear now. Birth and death cycle. Within that birth and death cycle, the birth could be in a bhoga yoni or the birth could be in a karma yoni. We don't know. It depends upon our karma and karma phala. We have got a system and law which controls this karma and karma phala. Accordingly, we get into karma yoni, die, get into karma yoni, die, or maybe get into bhoga yoni and die. So getting into that yoni is called as birth. We take birth in a bhoga yoni, die in a bhoga yoni. Take birth in a karma yoni, die in a karma yoni. It's a cycle. We are moving into one or the other yoni. Still we are in the birth and death cycle. This is one cycle. Are we dead? Are we distracted? Do we totally cease? No. We are still there. The only thing is we are taking different yonis. Yoni means shelter, different shelters. Shelters in different forms of shariira indriya manas. The journey is continuous. The journey is continuous. Maybe at one stage, once the soul is capable of coming out of this birth and death cycle, now what happens? It just goes off the birth and death cycle. Neither it takes a karma yoni nor a bhoga yoni. There we have got another circle. That is birth and death cycle, and the other thing which is cyclic there is the moksha. It's a state of salvation. That is the cycle there. Birth and death cycle. So birth and death cycle is a cycle in a cycle. The bigger cycle here is taking birth and death and moksha. In moksha there is no birth and death. Still we exist. The aatma exists. And what is that condition? They define it as it's a state without shariira indriya manas, and the soul directly experiences bliss, ananda. It's not in the birth and death cycle. But moksha also has got an end, and once that moksha is over, it again gets into the birth and death cycle. That's the bigger cycle what we have got. So the bigger cycle is birth and death cycle, moksha. Birth and death cycle, moksha. Birth and death cycle, moksha. How long it goes? Eternally. amRutaa vayam. There is no end to it, there is no beginning to it. Just moves on. Within that cycle, we have got another cycle called birth and death cycle. There we are taking birth and death in karma yoni or bhoga yoni. Karma yoni, bhoga yoni. It depends upon the actions of ours and its result. Karma phala, karma and karma phala. Bigger circle, and within that bigger circle, a smaller circle of birth and death. These cycles are eternal. No beginning, no ending. It goes on and goes on and goes on. Therefore, there is no question of an end to this. It is amRutaa. amRuta. So that's the meaning of this. amRutaa vayam. This is the structure. This is the process that's going on in this universe. Of course, in perfect relationship to our lives. When I say our, it's not shariira indriya manas. We have to be very clear about that. When I say ours, when I say you, when I say I, when I say you, they're all referring to that soul, which is existing and is aware of its existence. Satchit. Sat also amRuta. Satchidananda also is amRuta. Now here it's referring to amRutaa vayam. That is referring to this satchit only here in this piece of the mantra. All the three entities are eternal and there is no fourth entity. This is Vedic science. If you give a thought to this, yes, you'll be surprised. That is very, very logical, very, very convincing, and very, very scientific. There are no loose ends in this. And we cannot understand the world in a better way than this. That's another beauty of it. It's the best way we can understand. Because it answers all our questions, it satisfies all our queries. But any other explanation, it has got its own loose ends and it fails to convince us, it fails to answer us when we ask so many questions. That is why we call this understanding as truth. Truth is capable of answering all the questions and is straight and simple. It's not difficult to understand. It's not complex, it's not complicated. It's very easy. I got two cycles, a bigger cycle of birth and death cycle and moksha, birth and death cycle and moksha. Within that birth and cycle, we have got another cycle called birth and death, birth and death. And that too, the birth and death, we have got two specifications. One is the karma yoni, another one is the bhoga yoni. Over. The smaller circle runs, we get out of this birth and cycle, we are into a bigger cycle. When I come to the time span, that's also very important to understand. We know some calculation of time. 360 days and a quarter day is called as 1 year and so on. Okay, keeping that itself as a scale. The year what we know, the months what we know, the days what we know. Okay. The condition of or the time span required for birth and death cycle and the moksha, they are in crores of years. Crores of years. Not one or two. It's a very big figure. Crores. Moksha for crores of years. Birth and death cycle, crores of years. Now within that birth and death cycle, the moving from karma yoni to bhoga yoni to karma yoni, they are in hundreds of years. That's in crores, is in hundreds of years. Say if we take a karma yoni like a human form, maybe it is 100, 120 years, 130 years. Then we keep changing. Maybe it's a bhoga yoni, an animal, depending upon what the animal is. It could be 50 years, 20 years, or even 500 years. You know that a tortoise can live for 500 years. So it could be anything. It will be in terms of hundreds of years. The change in the birth and death cycle, it will be in hundreds of years. And the change in birth and death and moksha cycle is in crores of years. So this is how we have to understand this amRutaa vayam. We are not going to extinct. We are not going to get extincted. There is no extinction. We exist, we just continue our journey. And that's why it is called as aatma. Ata satatya kavane. While giving the name itself, it's very clear that we are not going to end. There is no end at all. Ananta. amRutaa vayam. Though it's just two words, all these concepts are embedded in that two mantras. And we've got different rules governing these cycles. Very simple thing is, we are always wanting to get out of this birth and death cycle and get to moksha. That's our goal. Because this birth and death cycle is always associated with certain duties, certain karma and karma phala. We are not free from that. But in the state of moksha, there is no karma, but just enjoying the karma phala of what we did in the birth and death cycle. And that experience in the moksha is always nothing but peace, harmony, and bliss. Shanti, Abhaya, Ananda. For crores of years. That is why we are striving to get it. By this or that. But the clear understanding we are not getting unless we study the principles of Veda, unless we study the principle of humanism, human nature. Because only when we are in the human form, we can help the soul. Thus we can help ourselves to become stronger and purer and become eligible for experiencing moksha. So this human form is a very, very important phase in his birth and death cycle. We cannot miss it. We cannot misuse it. We cannot lose that great opportunity. Here we do some mistakes, knowingly or unknowingly. Now for those mistakes, we are in a phase of bhoga yoni. Sudden mistake, you have done something. So you lose the opportunity of improving yourself. That is improving your strength or purity. So in a state of imprisonment, that is bhoga yoni. Then you have no opportunity to just be there. Once that period of bhoga yoni is over, you are given another opportunity, released from the prison, and now you are free. Now you can work for the upliftment of your soul. That's the human form. That's the karma yoni. Now once again, it depends upon you, depends upon me, what we are doing. This is how the whole cycle works and works and works, and it is eternal. Finally, that's the point what we have to understand. The journey of the soul through this bigger circle of birth and death cycle and moksha, and within that birth and cycle in bhoga yoni and karma yoni, all this is eternal. It goes on, goes on and goes on. There is no beginning, there is no end. amRutaa, vayam. Now another piece of the Veda mantra which is complementary to this, it says, there also it uses the same word. Yasya chaya amrutam. Yasya chaya amrutam. Yasya mrutyuhu. Yasya chaya amrutam. Yasya mrutyuhu. This is same Atharva 4-7. 4-7. Fourth Kanda, second Sukta, seventh mantra. Yasya chaya amrutam. Yasya mrutyuhu. It is complementary to the piece of mantra what you are discussing, and says, chaya means shelter, chaya means shadow, shelter. When you are taking shelter under the guidance of Satchidananda, the guidance of Satchidananda, then everything is amRutaa. When you miss it, yasya mrutyuhu, it results in mrutyu. When we are under the shelter of, when we are taking the guidance of the Satchidananda, things are different. When we don't understand it and live a life according to our whims and fancies, then it's mrutyu. Now once again, we have to rightly understand what is chaya, what is amRutaa, what is mrutyu. Mrutyu and amRutaa both has got the same root, Marin Prana Tyagi, same thing, what you have seen already. So here that amRutaa is referred to as the state of bliss in the bigger cycle. Bigger cycle. In the bigger cycle, we have got two stages. One is a birth and death cycle, a cycle within a cycle, and the state of bliss. Here the state of bliss is referred to amRutaa. That is, you can be out of the birth and death cycle. You can go to the other phase of moksha, of experiencing peace and bliss. But if you want to go to that stage, there is only one way, into a hollow. That is, yasya chaya. You should be under the shelter of, you should be under the guidance of, you should be in the shadow of. That's Satchidananda. Satchidananda has created his whole universe. And while establishing this whole universe, it has established so many rules and systems. If you understand those systems and work accordingly, yes, we can get out of this birth and cycle and go to the state of moksha, that state of salvation, the state of bliss. It's possible. But the only way, I repeat, the only path available to that is to get out of this birth and the cycle is the guidance given by Satchidananda. That's the only way. We have to obey those rules and get out. And there is no other path. Now, these are also not my words. Nanyah pantha ayanaya vidyate. There's another piece of the Veda mantra. It says very clearly. Na anyah pantha. You don't have an alternative path to take. Na anyah pantha ayanaya vidyate. This is the one and the only path. And if you want that, you have to take only that path. Over. It is fixed. It's a rule. You cannot transit it. You cannot trespass it. You are bound by that. You are not free to find another path. You will not get. This is the only path. Anyah pantha na vidyate. What is the benefit? You get out of birth and death cycle. When you get out of birth and cycle, it is for crores of years, you are in a state of experiencing bliss, experiencing peace, experiencing abhaya. But when you are in birth and death cycle, there could be disturbance in the state of peace, there could be disturbance in the experience of bliss, or it could be a very short period one, or you will not be in the state of abhaya, but you will be in the state of bhaya. Yes, that is the nature of this birth and death cycle. If you want to get out of this, there is only one way. Follow the guidance, principles. They are not enforced on you. You are given the freedom to follow it or not to follow it. But understand it and voluntarily follow it, you are out of that cycle of birth and death. But in a bigger cycle, where you will be in a state of moksha for crores of years. Now, obeying those principles, understanding those principles, is what is called as yasya chaya amrutam. So that chaya, that shelter, that obedience, that shade, yes, it results in amRutaa. That's it, results in the state of moksha, salvation. Say, knowingly or unknowingly, we are not following it. Then it says, yasya chaya amrutam, yasya mrutyuhu. You cannot escape from this birth and death cycle, you will be in that state. It's speaking of the bigger cycle, where you got a state of birth and death and a state of salvation, bliss. If you want this, you have to follow the rules and regulations. Yasya chaya amrutam. You are not following it, yasya mrutyuhu. You can never escape from this birth and death cycle. You have to be staying there. Now, what's the problem here? When you are in birth and death cycle, you are supposed to take birth. You are supposed to die. That's you are supposed to depend on continuously your shariira, indriya, manas, the tool. You have to get a tool, levitate, and throw it out. And it becomes obsolete, and becomes useless, and it becomes dilapidated. Throw it out. Get another one. Continue. Throw it out. You are into this cycle continuously. And when you are forced to take this shariira, indriya, manas, or the tool, yes, so many other things are attached to it, that is suffering, pains, pleasures. It's a combination of all. It's not just pure peace. It's not just pure state of fearless. It's not just a pure state of bliss. It's a mix. All that mix you have to take. It's a package containing of all these things. But if you get out this birth and death cycle, the package is very simple and pure. You have got only bliss, happiness, fearlessness, over, nothing else. And you are not also forced to take shariira, indriya, manas. That problem also is not there. You need not worry about karma yoni or bhoga yoni or anything. Be in a state of bliss, be in a state of peace for crores of years. You want it? Yasya chaya amrutam. You want that state of amruta? Okay, then you have to enter the shelter, the guidance of Sachin. The guidance is available. What you have to do, you have to do it in birth and death cycle. In particular, there also karma yoni, and get out of that cycle and go to a higher level where you are going to experience the peace and bliss. Yasya chaya amrutam, yasya mrutyuhu. Here, amrutam refers to the state of moksha, and mrutyu refers to the birth and death cycle. Now, if you study these two mantras together, yes, it will be still more clear as to where we are, what we are supposed to do, what we are searching for, what we want finally. All of us, without an exception, all of us, we definitely like and love the state of moksha. But amruta sthiti, we all want it. But where it is, we should understand the cycle. Only when we get out this birth and death cycle, we are into amrutatva, not otherwise. So to get out of this, as long as we are in this, we are into karma yoni and bhoga yoni, and we can try, we can strive to get out of this only when we are in a karma yoni, not in a bhoga yoni. So karma yoni is very vital for us. Of course, now we are all in the karma yoni. Now this karma yoni, what is given to us, we have to make the best use of it so that we are ensured of another karma yoni in our next birth. If we misuse this birth, we just live like animals in this human form, we are not assured of human form in our next birth. It's a big loss. It's a big loss. We are into bhoga yoni. Nothing can be done. All the time we are in bhoga yoni is just useless from the point of view of the purity and strength of gaining the purity and strength of the soul. We can't do anything in that. The whole period is lost. How many times you have to take that bhoga yoni? We don't know. It may be once, twice, thrice, 100 times. All the time is lost. So we should live like human beings. We should strive for the purity and strength of the soul when we are in human form, plus do those things which will ensure us a human form in the next birth also. Is it possible? Yes. What's the guidance given? It says live like a human being, over. Just live like a human being and make the best use of this human form what is given to you, the tool of a human structure. Yes, when you use it best, okay, we will give you again. How to live like a human being? We have discussed several times. Love, compassion, mercy, sacrifice. These are all the human qualities. Knowledge, practicing, a harmonious living between the thoughts, the words, and our actions. I discussed so many things. Follow it. That's the human way of life. What is humanity and what is human way of life is explained in detail in the Vedas, in hundreds of Veda mantras. Or all the Vedas are only there to explain this. Understand it, live a human way of life. Next life is assured for you as a human being. Then also lead the same life. You'll get one more. So more and more you are into karma yoni. It's a great opportunity for us to gain strength and purity of the soul and get out of this birth and death cycle and be under amrutatva. Yasya chaya amrutam, yasya mrutyuhu. Choice is ours. Whether it should go to this or it should go to that. But our internal yearning, vayam, our internal want is always that moksha. Whether you are able to recognize it rightly, understand it rightly or not, every satchit is striving for that only. And unfortunately, they are searching for it in wrong places. So there's an idiom in English, it says, barking at the wrong tree. Barking at the wrong tree. We are all barking, we are all striving, but we are doing it at the wrong tree. We are not trying to do it in the right. That's the problem. We should not bark at the wrong tree. We should bark at the right tree and we get the results. When you understand, yasya chaya amrutam, yasya mrutyu, the chaya is the shelter, the guidance, the rules explained to us by the Satchidananda. And the system works. Amruta vayam, yasya chaya amrutam, yasya mrutyuhu, both must be studied in relationship, in coordination, in a complementary way. Both are in the Atharva. One is in the third kanda, and the other is in the fourth kanda. That's all. So when you understand things clearly like this, yes, our present human life can be better, and we'll strive for improving the strength and purity of the soul, and our future is fixed. When you do like this, if you don't do it, it's not. The results are different. We can create, we can form our own future when we use the present well. If you do it right, you get a right future. If you don't do it, you will not. But what happens in future, it is not fixed. It depends upon our action today. Upon it, it gets fixed. So these things you have to understand very well. Amruta vayam, yasya chaya amrutam, yasya mrutyuhu. Every piece of Veda mantra like this, it reiterates, it repeats again and again the Vedic principles, the cycles, the interrelationships. What is the gist finally? This is an eternal process. It has no beginning, it has no end. It's a continuous process. But the beauty of it is, if I escape this birth and death cycle for crores of years, I can be in a state of peace, fearless, and bliss. That's the beauty of it. I'm just experiencing peace, bliss, and fearlessness for crores of years. That's a beautiful condition. Okay, now it's up to us to find out where we are in these two circles, the bigger circle and the smaller circle. And in that smaller circle, whether we're in the karma yoni or bhoga yoni. Of course, we are in the karma yoni, there's no doubt about it. But how to ensure karma yoni again and again? That's the task before us. And work accordingly and finally get out of this birth and cycle and be in a state of peace and bliss for crores of years. Of course, at the end we come back. Doesn't matter. You work again, go to that state. While working also, it's crores of years. But within that, when you are speaking of karma yoni and bhoga yoni, the period is in hundreds of years. It's not in crores of years. So these hundreds of years, if I make the best use of it, all put together, I can get out of this birth and death cycle and be in a state for crores of years. The benefit is enormous. So it's for us to introspect, to evaluate where we are and how we are, and pursue this path. And that is the path which is available, and that's the only path which is available if you want to experience that peace and bliss. Okay, thank you for the day. We'll see other mantras in the next session. I think because of the background, what we have been discussing for hundreds of classes, I think we are able to understand what this piece of the mantra tells us. The questions or doubts are very less or none at all. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sharma ji.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Namaste.